for joining us today's evening. My name is Maria. Mauro invited me to tell you about engaging developers today.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to today's session, Engaging Developers, Product Manager Tips. My name is Mauro Litsuri and I am a UX designer from Mozambique. Okay. And I'll be your host for today's session with Mariya Krivokhat. Mariya is the enthusiastic product manager at Young App, discovering OCR trends and inspired by observing unpredictable behavior patterns in multinational teams.
That's right.
Mariya will be sharing her set of best practices on having win-win communication with developers. She will share the topics that she will talk about. Also, please note that this is an interactive talk and we will try to get you to contribute as much as possible. I will let Mariya introduce herself shortly, but I just want for you to take note about some recommendations for this session.
And this session will be recorded. So after the session, you can rewatch it if you would like to pick up more insights. And please don't shy, raise any questions, even the most provocative, because as practice shows, the most provocative questions are the most painful. So we are going here to have also some networking. And it would be great if you will write here, write in this chat, share your LinkedIn accounts so you could connect one with another, and you also can write on which questions you are looking at answers. Maybe in this chat right today will be the person who will help you and could cooperate with you in future. So let's do this, let's communicate, let's network.
Yeah, thank you, Mariya. I would just like to ask everyone to, if possible, turn on their cameras so the interaction can feel more real. Since we are going to be engaging with each other, it will be good to see who we are actually talking to.
Or you could do this later at any time,
Yeah.
Wherever you want. Yeah,
that's fine.
So I start networking, my LinkedIn account. Welcome to join. Welcome to share your accounts, because networking is the base of successful communication.
Okay. Mariya, I'm handing over to you and you can take over from here.
Yeah, sure. It's great that you guys turn on cameras so I can see you well. Hi, Sen. Hi, Pitai. Hi, Akansh. Nice to meet you. Hi, Vishal. So if any guys will join, I'm happy to see you all. Hi, Pete. Hi, Olga. Hi, Kalin. So during my conversation, welcome to interrupt me, raise any questions. That's totally fine. And can you send the plus if you hear me well and see me well in the chat, or just type any number? Okay, great. Super.
Great.
Thank you. The first link to connect. Perfect. Thank you so much. So I share my screen and let's start right now. Do you see my screen?
Yes, yes, your screen is here.
Okay, perfect. So today I will tell you how to communicate with developers. After I worked in international companies in different departments. I worked like technical communicator, technical writer, like translator. Now I am product manager. I also created community of developers. So after all these stages, I understand how it works to speak with developers, so it will be more enjoyable for you and for developer. Um, uh, this speech will be applicable not only for developers, but for every person with whom you will have communication. So you can just use this information anywhere. First step, a bit introduction. I'm working at Young App Company. We are discovering OCR trends. And I'm inspired by observing predictable behavior patterns in communication, in teamwork, because humans are illogical creatures. And sometimes you're thinking, why this guy did this, not that. It's impossible to predict, so you can just relax and do whatever you suggest will be the best. This presentation also will be shared with you. So if you see here any links, no worries, they will not be lost. Mauro will send you this presentation after this meeting. First, let's start with simple question, how we should create tasks for developers. How do you think, do we have so much things to do? First, I propose you to follow the police rule. For example, if you are in danger, police tells you first, tell your location. Where are you now? The same about communication with developers. First, you should tell the most important stuff to this guy. Everything else will be after. Because developers adore concise and structured communication. It is extremely important because I remember the time I spoke to developers. They were developers and DevOps, and every second was on count, because if you gave them brief information, they accepted it. If it was 2-3 sentences, it was too large for them and very annoying. So even if you don't know from what to start, tell 2-3 words, tell them the essence. Give me the access. Do not start with how are you passed your weekends. Yes, it's of course important, but you need to remember what was the goal. And as you know, there are several types in culture. Sometimes you can be direct. Direct cultures are cultures from Ukraine, Belarus, some Eastern countries, and also maybe Germany, France, and there are many countries who have indirect communication culture, such as China, India, America. So you need to understand to whom you speak, especially if this guy from Eastern culture, they appreciate if you just will speak the less. And you know, when you speak briefly, the most attention, you receive the most of attention, because the more words, the more attention is divided. And it's much more better if you need to highlight, to tell that it's very, very important, use 2-3 words, 5 words maximum. So the person will highlight them and do whatever you need. It's much better if you tell the story about what was yesterday. So believe me, it's effective. Second tip. Yeah. Sometimes I put here this picture for you to understand what is the first impression of any developer when you tell them, let's start interview. Developer, believe me, not only developer, but any person look like this cat, because this person does not know which questions you will raise in this interview. So before you start, you just write them. I would like to have an interview with you, and it's about this. Because from ancient times, for everyone, if the person does not know something, it's very scareful. We cannot just be with empty mind, with empty brain. We need to fulfill it with thoughts. And if we have no thoughts about why it is happened, if we do not understand the reason, we are scared. So we find this reason somewhere else. And it will be good if you give to the person the reason why it happens. So the person will tell, okay, I understood. But if person doesn't understand, the person will go to the colleagues. The person will raise rumors, because no one knows why it happened, but every person would like to explain why it happens. And one colleague that doesn't know the reason explain to developer why it happens. So it's better you explain why it happens. Second, yeah. Another tip, check sentences on ambiguity so they can be understandable from the very first time. Maybe when you did learn English or another language, you read the sentence, let's eat grandma. So if this sentence is it's ambiguous, first it can be understood like let's eat with us, grandma. Second meaning it's let's eat our grandma. So it's very scareful. And after you write in communication, check whether this sentence may be understood in the wrong way. In this case, you avoid stress because every developer and every person, when reads the text and finds something strange, uh, the guy or the girl, they lose extra energy to understand. They will think with the cup of tea, and what is it, why it is written strange. Also, we need to avoid abbreviations and shortenings because for you it's understandable. For other person, it may be not as simple as you think. Or the guy will Google abbreviations, and for every abbreviation about maybe about 10, 20 meanings. I tell you this as a translator. When I try to understand uh, something, it's craziness. It's like you make puzzle every day. And illustrate, because many guys uh, like uh, uh, imagine something, and they do not like read the text. They like to watch images. And the best will be if you have image, just attach image, so it will be scanned and understood properly. Very important, your voice amplitude. You see this poor developer, he's sleeping. Uh, I know that many cultures have the language that sounds very monotone. I'm not sure that my native Ukrainian language sounds monotone, but maybe. So we need to make our best to wake up every person. So we shouldn't tell like this all the time to be monotone, to explain something. We can do this when we tell a lullaby. So we need in every word we need highlight and put maximum energy, maximum emotions. Then your interview will be productive. Very important to avoid suspended or undefined state. I remember I faced many situations when you cannot give exact information. Someone asks, how's the progress of your work? You cannot tell guy that, you know, we just did not finish it. So it will not be serious because you should finish it. you cannot give extra details. We are in the process on the stage one, we are working on the task one, so it will be finished maybe if manager approves, if manager not approves, we go to the CEO for approval, blah, blah, blah. Avoid extra details. And it will be the best if you just give exact short information about status. This is done, for example, or the stage one is done, or this is in the process. Quickly status, but status should be finished. Also, tell key points statuses instead of notifying about unfinished process. For example, you are in the process of development. You can tell we are developing currently. We are developing, but no one knows on which stage. It will be better if you tell we just finished feature one and started feature two. The action is done, the action is completed, and the person understands the final result. For key managers, very important to have some point from which they will jump to plan, to create some roadmap. And the more solid you make this point, the better strategical planning you receive. And also, this stuff that swings all the time, and it's very important to avoid such condition when you're speaking with someone. If you tell the person, what do you think? Should we take this customer? The person replies, I don't know. Maybe this customer is good, but I would not recommend. However, I don't know, maybe we discuss it a bit later, or maybe not later. Maybe we should discuss it. I don't know. Just come to me in 1 hour, I tell you. So it's very dangerous type of guys who all the time swinging. They do not give you exact information. If you don't know, if you don't have information, it's better tell, sorry, I have no information right now, or sorry, I have no plans right now, or come tomorrow for exact information. Please make your priority to give exact information. It's very important. And in this case, you will avoid extra stress. When you're speaking with someone, be original. You use fresh GIFs and pictures to make communication vivid, like this. Because psychologists tell that if I'm surprised, I receive positive mood, positive energy. So surprise is great reaction. Try to surprise the person with whom you communicate. This person will appreciate this, because maybe you noticed sometimes when you are doing routine work, you time to time opening some bright pictures, some memes, some news, something that is not connected with work. And if you will send to your developers fresh memes, interesting books, interesting links to conferences, by these sections, you will keep this guy or girl from the daily routine. And they would appreciate more the less. They would react on your connection very quickly. When you need to conduct interview with them, they just tell you, okay, because they remember that you're a very interesting person and you are not boring. Also, I recommend to use appropriate messages because, for example, it's not promotion. Just let's compare Slack and Viber, or Slack and Skype. In Slack, you can ping one guy that you need right now, or you can ping several guys that at this time online. In other messengers, there may be not appropriate functionality. So every your message will ping everyone. So if you launch your communication, try to select the best messenger. It may be Slack, maybe Mattermost, maybe someone else, but be ethical. Do not ping everyone you see. And very important to be logical and consequent. As I told before, when someone knows the reason of the event that happens before, uh, the person receives the sense of stability, and it becomes more open. For example, someone asks me, Mary, do you know the access to the application? In my mind, I have a lot of questions. Why this person asks me for access? This person would like to access application instead of me, or this person would like to share my credentials with another guy. So it's sensitive information. I'm not going to share it. But if the person just tell me, Mary, support told me to pick up credentials to this application, and I will not know them because you will type themselves by yourself. I will not see the screen. So the person provides me a bit more context. So I understand that everything is fine. I have some storytelling situation why it happens. So okay, no worries if I will type this credentials, so it will be secure for me. No worries, that's okay. So be logic, be consequent.
Yeah, can I jump in a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Um, so what you just talked about reminds me of software development. So usually the developer is the last person to receive the instruction to develop, right?
Right.
So somewhere in marketing or in product is defined this solution that needs to be built. And then it goes through a whole process of maybe prioritizing features, removing functionality and whatnot what. And at the end, a task is handed over to the developer. So if the initial vision for that solution is not passed along to the developer, then what is actually happening is we are giving power to the developer for him to make his own assumptions about what the solution is supposed to be. So if you don't communicate properly with the developer, your initial idea, then the end product might not match the initial proposal.
That's
So
right.
yeah, yeah.
So we should communicate properly with every developer, and I also appeal to invite guys to general to general chats to to add them copies. For example, you writing something to someone, you notify one developer about you need to receive information. If you are in doubt whether you should ask this developer or another developer, or maybe this developer can tell extra information that another developer don't want to share, you add both guys to this email, and then the first developer will not share information, but the second developer do not want to share because he see he's in copy. And to approve something, we also can add person to copy. If we have conflicts, we need approval. Maybe we would like to keep someone notified. Also, use adding to the copy. And very important to show the final ideas to developer. For example, you plan something tomorrow what customer want. It's very important to involve developer on very early stage. The more involved developer, the more simple will be the whole process, because some features seems very simple from the user point of view, but from the point of view developer, this feature may take 1-2 years of work. So the earlier developer comes, the better. The same about test engineers, another member of the team. Very good practice when from the very you record video what customer and share this video with your team. So everyone will to see the customer, to understand customer view, customer likes, dislikes, and the less misunderstanding you will have in result. Also very important to ask your customer whether this information is sensitive, whether this recorded, whether this video may be shared. I'm just telling about some general type of product, because if we have deal with bank field, with legal field, with security field, with processing private data, personal data like ID, insurance policies, etc., etc. We should we should understand that this data secured and will not be passed to third person. Maybe we have right now any other questions. I can ask them, or just raise a hand. I would like to hear your voice. It will be a pleasure for me.
Yes, as we said initially, this should be an interactive session. So please feel free to talk to Mariya and ask any questions that you might have up to this point.
Yeah, I think I have a question for Mariya, and
Great.
also to love to hear your insights. So, if a product manager, I have two questions actually. So the first one, so if a product manager is in a situation where two engineers are fighting about a matter or they're at loggerheads, so you have two engineers in your team that have differences, how do you go about settling the differences as a product manager? That's my first question. Then my second question is, there are certain engineers that might not necessarily be working on very serious tasks, but they might come up with some very highly technical words and detail just to sort of confuse the product manager, especially if the product manager is not technical. So how do you handle situations where you have engineers that are always coming up with technical excuses to do less work?
So do you mean what should I do if two guys have some conflict? And second question, what should I do if I have technical stuff with which I need to deal? How I will understand these technical things in order to provide a smooth development process?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, in first case, when two developers have some conflict, you can give them separate tasks. In development, sometimes some tasks are integrated together, or developers need to check the work of one another. For example, one is junior developer, one is senior developer. Senior developer will check junior developer. In this case, the situation will be a bit more interesting. So first advice, if you have a simple situation when you can provide separate task for two developers, it will be very effective, because the spheres of these developers not only will not be merged. So when these spheres are merged, here you have the conflict zone, because one person's suggests it should be like this, another person suggests it should be done in different way. But if you give them separate tasks, they do not only will be happy because everyone will grow own part of work. They even may compete and provide to the team better result. But if we have the case when one developer depends on another developer, you can just try to make their communication written by putting you to the copy and communicate with bold facts only. For example, this part finished, the code passed to this person. And very important to remember, do not make judgments and suggestions, because usually conflicts arise when different guys and girls have different experience. For example, they may have different points of view on the same, because this guy developed and before have difficulties, for example, with providing this feature on Python language. But this guy developed and have no difficulties with features in Python language. So this guy has one experience, this guy has another experience. So that is the reason of conflict, because everyone has different experience, and all solution usually based on the ground of such experiences. In this case, what I would ask the project manager be a middle person in this situation. One guy will pass all tasks to product or project manager, because in some companies, for example, currently in my company, we have situation when product management manager was project manager, and also these fields interconnected. So you need to have middle person between two angry developers, and this middle person will prevent the part of conflicts. But also very important to understand that conflict it's not bad. It's very good, because every conflict can show you the weak place in development. For example, if one person do not satisfied with development, maybe there is a reason why this code is bad, or maybe there is a reason why this process is not the best. So every conflict you need accept not as a problem. You need accept like some critics that will make your product better. Sometimes it would be good to provide some space for these guys. If you see that these guys both amazing developers, just provide them space, keep them apart, not together. Uh, if you need some critics for your project, it's very great to have some discussion between two angry developers. It's also a bonus. About technical issues, when I face something that I do not understand, I involve technical specialists. I read many articles, I have heard many podcasts when they tell that it's not important for product manager to understand the technical side. I agree with this. It's not important, but if there is a need to understand technical details, product manager should quickly understand. Maybe by involving some person, some external person to the company. Maybe to go into to one developer to receive some advice. But it's extremely important. And I believe in every company should be CTO or a technical lead to control the quality of all processes. So any other questions? Okay, no questions.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, go on. Thank you for your questions. Also, as I noticed, every person, especially every developer, uh, don't like empty conversations. So select the most important and bring this most important to another person. And also, it's very important why I ask you to turn on your videos. By your faces, I can understand whether you are sleeping or not sleeping, whether you are interested. I see that Mauro is not sleeping. He is hearing me, and that's great. So every time when you are having interview, you need to understand that it's still interesting for the person, or person has time to it, because sometimes someone has flight somewhere and just can tell you 5 minutes but cannot tell you 30 minutes. And specialty of technical interviews, they may take many hours. If you feel that your conversation exceeds the time limit, stop this immediately and tell the person, I see the time, I promised you to have 15 minutes of interview. Okay, let's continue the next time. The person will appreciate this because you take no more time. And everyone needs to understand that taking interview with extra time, you take the minutes of life of another person. For example, this 10-15 minutes, this guy may be with family, or this guy may see the Netflix, for example, or do something important in the life. And that is the reason someone may be angry when you exceed your interview. The next point, maybe you remember this stuff before, and maybe everyone have deal with it. My point is, when you come to technical person and expect to receive some information, for example, you need technical instruction, but your product manager, you cannot create this technical instruction because your technical background is not sufficient. I'm just telling about non-IT product managers, non-technical product managers. For example, I understand that I cannot right now write some examples of JavaScript code. I go to the guy and tell, could you please write this technical code? I give you 90%, that guy tell you, oh, Mary, so much work, please come tomorrow. I cannot do this right now, because you came to this guy with empty page. You just propose him to start writing the code. And if every person has its own level of detailization. If someone tells me, Mary, please write the answer to the question, I can write the answer like this, or I can write the answer like this. The very good practice when you create some template where you highlight the issues the developer need to fulfill. For example, first sentence, I need the example of the code that will not exceed 4 lines. Second question, please give me 3 advices about how to improve code infrastructure. Fourth question, please recommend me the best sources to find something, but no more than 2, just to fix this template. So another guy will understand that it will not take 1 hour or 2 hours. It will take only 15 minutes. And there is one psychological trick when you see something that it is not finished, but you understand that it may be finished if you just pick up a small detail to whole system. You feel you very good. You feel like the guy uh, whom all team are waiting, and this guy solves all problems. So give the sense to the developer, give them the possibility to do like this. So it's finished, process is finished, and the person feels very, very good because the process is finished because of his work. So provide templates, and templates should be a half of work you should done. Maybe this work will be done not in full volume. Maybe this work will done not with all details, just come with something, not with empty page. Maybe you can Google, you can find something, some basic template. It will be easier for developer. And nowadays, all guys suffer from digital detox. Therefore, human communication is a key to switching activity and fulfill energy. Imagine every one of us sitting in the front of computer, in the front of mobile phone, and maybe just wanna go somewhere to see the birds, to see the sun, to smell the trees, uh, to receive some communication in reality. So highly effective when you come to the guy with whom you should have a technical interview and propose him, instead of technical interview, go to the closest bar or go to the cafe or go somewhere else to the nature, maybe on 30 minutes, on 40 minutes. The person will receive positive stimulation, and future interview will be associated with walking somewhere, with enjoying fresh air, with smelling cup of coffee, and you will have more chance to receive this person engaged to speak personally with you. Very important to keep carrot in the front of the horse. So I mean that you need to demonstrate to the developer or to any other person to demonstrate the benefits. Every time when someone asks me, Mary, could you please help me? And my question is, okay, what I will receive instead? I am joking, of course, but you need to think about how what benefits are for another person. You can tell me that every guy has the salary from the company. Okay, the guy has salary for his work, but what are the benefits from communication with you? So you need to promise something. For example, you come to the guy and tell, okay, let's have interview. At the end of this interview, I create instruction, and all persons that come after will not go to you and ask every time how will it work. They will read instruction, and because of this small interview with me, you will receive a large instruction, detailed instruction with images how it will work. So the developer see the bonus. Okay, why not? Great plan. Or can you please give me interview, and I will post this interview on the TechCrunch, and you will be famous. I suggest many of us would like to be famous. It's fantastic, and because of these tricks, you will be more competitive in comparing with other product managers that will promise nothing. Because you need to understand, maybe no one tells about this, but every communication, it's like keeping a balance. If you would like to receive something from another person, you need to give something to this person before. It may be a compliment, it may be joke, it may be even promise, but after you need to fulfill this promise. It may be just boosting the mood, just laughing together. After this, person receives energy, and it it is he or she, they are ready to give the knowledges to you. So remember about balance. All we living in the age where we have no time. We have no time to sleep, we have no time to eat, and of course we have no time to work. And I propose you to kill two birds with one stone. For example, you need to conduct an interview, but you have no time. Of course, you have no time for this interview because you're product manager. And the main rule of product manager is to say no. I remember when I just started to be a product, I read that the basic rule is to be able to say no, because everyone will come to you and will ask for something. And the earlier you understand that you need to say no, the earlier you will do your work more effective. And what I propose? I propose to kill two birds with one stone. Think how else should we receive information from developers. For example, you may have some documentation before. You just read this documentation and come to developer not with 5 questions, but with 1 question. Or maybe you know that they have interview with customer. First, you watching this interview, and only after this, after you have some background, after you have some knowledges to interview technical guy, you come to this technical guy. Believe me, such respect will be huge bonus for you, because this person will respect you because you have some technical background, and this person will respect you for second reason, because you appreciate the time. When I started to work in IT industry, I remember many developer asked me, Mary, could you Google please? Every time when they asked me this, I was very angry, because I believe they should provide me with an answer. Why should I Google if it's so simple to give me the reply? After 4 years or 5 years working in IT, I telling the same. If someone comes to me and asks me, Mary, do you know this? I tell them, could you Google, please? It's not because I'm rude. It's not because I have no time. It's because Google provides exact information. And because we are living in the times of turbulence, when every information changes quickly, and the information that was yesterday, today will not be the same, will be the best and more respectful to another person. Do not provide with general details, with ambiguous details, but send this person to the Google, and Google gives full information. And in this case, I will not be responsible for providing bad statistics. Google will be responsible. So you need to remember this rule. What I noticed in team communication. Sometimes it may be cultural differences about micromanagement, about open questions, because in some countries it's very popular when you give the plan task by task, or provides information in very detailed view. In some cultures, it's not so usual, and if you provide too much details, the developer will be offended, because developer can sometimes I did this, and sometimes developer told me, Mary, you think I don't understand this? So a person thought I suggest the person is stupid because I provide too much details. um, or another example, I gave the task, guy performed this task, but after, nothing, no response, just silence. One day silence, second day silence. I contacted guy and asking, how are you? How the task? Is everything okay? Oh, yeah, everything okay, but I have heard the question. That was the reason I just paused this task. So the guy just waited me contact the developer, because the culture. It was not respectful if the guy just pushed the manager every time that something is unclear. So you need to understand the background. After, you will find in references all books that I recommend. Also, there is a great book about cultural differences, so you will be prepared. Avoid toxic communication. It's very important. If you are full of emotions, better keep them and do not respond. You cannot develop this, you just loser, don't do like this, or just respond Okay, that's interesting situation. Let's come with this interesting situation to our manager, or let's deal with this unstandard issue and add humor. If you would like to criticize someone and doing this with jokes, the person does whatever you want. Keeping in touch is extremely important. It helps to prevent some conflict issues. I had have some experience when our company moved online. Some part of company was in office, and one day my manager told, okay, return to the office. Everyone return to the office. For us, it was very strange. Why company don't want us to make some economy to the budget? Because if we don't drink, don't use office, it's better for the company. Company makes some money on us sitting at home. But then my manager explained me, Mary, okay, I noticed that two guys that before came together to the kitchen and had have some funny conversation. Now, like separately, they do not joke anymore, and that is a first sign of background for conflicts. Because when guys do not communicate, they cannot sit up and cannot work as a team. So very important to be sure that you are synchronized with another person.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
no, I just wanted to share an experience of mine
Yeah. Sure.
in some projects that we had. So actually, during when COVID started,
Right.
right, the team was sent to work home, and it was noticed a trend where the communication between the developers dropped. So if that communication dropped, then the quality of the software itself and the deliveries also dropped. So one of the strategies that was used was to bring everyone back into the same space, obviously respecting all the measures and the distancing, but it triggered a more productive environment between the developers. So I'm just commenting on what you were talking about. Keeping in touch
Yeah.
is being extremely important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once I worked in American company, and their boss arrived in my country every 3 months and provided networking. It was not just drinking coffee together during the lunch. It was just grabbing our team and going to the best restaurants of the city. He paid all this networking. So it was daily. It was very unusual for me because the guys do not visit only restaurants, they also visited nightclubs together. So network was very, very high quality. Once when I worked as a sales manager about 10-15 years ago, um, before 8th of March, before Women Day, we had have the wine in our glasses, and we were prepared for the holiday, but our manager told us, okay, the last hour of work, we need to do our best, and we will celebrate. And counting the quantity of clients during the last hour, when we were awaited for the something good, was increased comparing with hours before. So because we were enjoyed, something good is going to come soon. We were most productive. The same about developers. When you come to the interview, first tell them something good. Bring to them good news. If you have nothing good to say, just say them, okay, I am very happy to see you. And this something good opens the person for future communication. In the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, I also attach all this information in references. Was one interesting psychology experiment when a professor told to the students that you can find the facts to support any idea, even the idea they have no sense at all. And he asked guys to support the idea if they will not put the person who did something to the jail, but if they will send this person to the psychologist instead of putting to the jail. Students told, no, it's a strange idea because currently we have a current system, it works, and we suggested this idea failed. But after some time, the professor told, okay, just think about this and find me the facts. And after he began brainstorming, so the guys found many facts to support the idea. Why should a guilty person be sent to psychologists? The same in real life. If you see that idea is supported by facts, it doesn't mean that these facts are high quality. These facts may be selected to support the view, and it's not obligatory that we need to follow this point of view, because for every hypothesis we can find many different facts. So before doing something, a project manager need to discuss with team the hypothesis to find some facts that will support. And on the base of this, be sure that manager takes a right decision. We should believe every thought that we received, and we should use critical thinking, because a lot of information around us makes this world tricky place. Something that was right yesterday may be not good tomorrow, and it may be not the best way to do, because world is changing. Before interviewing someone, you need to remember about differences in visual perception. I attached in the book about this. What do you see on this screen? Do you see the piece of furniture, the leg of the table, or do you see two faces here? The same about people. If you see in this situation only pluses, other person may see in these situations many weaknesses and many parts that should be improved. If other person with whom you communicate tells you that this idea not the best, do not be offended, do not be angry, because this idea may really be not the best, because you are looking on this from another side. In every situation, extremely important to share the big picture with your team, because if you tell a developer, please write the code, the developer, okay, I do this. But if you tell by writing, please write this code, because by writing this code, you provide health protection for many guys who need it. So the person feels like the god, like he not only contributes to the code, but creates some medical device that will save the lives of many people. Even if you believe that sharing this information will be too extra, I recommend to share this. Just ask other guys whether they don't mind. If your manager don't mind, share the big picture with your colleagues, so them to understand that it's not like a small piece of work, but like they should understand that they participate in something bigger, and they will push their motivation. And now I propose to talk about managers' loyalty and flexibility. Is it good or it creates chaos? Imagine some situation. A manager is flexible, manager is loyal. Customer comes to the manager and asks to move the deadline earlier. Because manager is loyal, flexible, because this is maybe a startup, manager tells, okay, no worries, we just release the product earlier. What happens after customer comes and ask, please, could you please finish this project and product earlier because customer wants to see it ready. The developers understand that this extra work. So this manager's loyalty with customer creates additional stress and additional negative emotions to the team. So it's very important to understand. Think not about one side, think about another side of deal. And for example, technical debt. Developer may tell you, okay, I can develop this more quickly if it's okay for you. Okay, that's okay for me. First, you need to understand whether this code, this solution will be after supportable, whether another developer who come can continue writing the code, whether this code may be simply modified after. In many companies happens quick development. After this quick development, the code is not clean, the code is low quality, not supportable, so we have technical debt. And other guys who come need somehow to understand how to clean this code, how to make the quality better. Uh, I appeal you, do not be loyal and flexible. I appeal you have some statistical data. What will be if customer tell you, please, could you please move the deadline? I need to understand what will be in this case if I move deadline. So first, I need now say, okay, we are agree. I should come to developer and pick up statistics, pick up what will be if I move deadline. The same about development. If developers would like to implement something, I come to the customer and ask them whether it will be appropriate to the business. The same about the team. If you product or project and you have many guys in your team and one of them come to you and tells, hey boss, could you please give me 1 day off? I need it so much this day off. Okay, you give 1 day off, no problem. In 1 week, this guy comes to you and telling you, okay, could you please give me another day off? The last time you helped me so much, please do this. You just without reason giving another day off. Okay, no worries, because you're a loyal, flexible manager. On the third week, be aware because whole team can come to you and tell, you know, uh, the Sam told us that you gave day off. Could you please give the day off to me and to me and to me and if possible tomorrow? So you need to have one rule for all guys. In this case, they all will be prepared. They, for example, you have a fixed quantity of day offs, and the same about other communication procedures. If you make something good for something loyal for one guy, allow to developer create some technical debt. For example, the code will be created quickly, but with low quality. Another developer may want to do the same because every person aimed to reduce energy loss. And by creating quick code, energy will be saved. So just be prepared. And also some tips for better productivity. The rule of the ball. Please write me tomorrow. This phrase I have heard from some senior product managers when I asked for communication. And then I realized that it's very effective. When you have no time right now and you telling the person, please write me tomorrow, the responsibility goes to another person. So imagine you have the ball and you just give this ball to another person. The same about everyone. If you have no exact information, if you need the issue were moved by, but someone is interested in this, just give you this issue or issues in the hand of the person who is interested. Because if you keep this ball at your side, you will be there, you will be responsible to answer this person if you have delay. For example, I promised to someone, okay, I will have a call with you, but I don't know what time. Let's communicate tomorrow. The person will be waiting, but I may forget. And because I told I write you tomorrow, not please write me. I promised I write you. I just break in my promise because I forgot, for example. So better do not keep your information here at your side. As much as possible, delegate. As much as possible, just move responsibilities to another guys who are responsible. And also the same about messages. If someone sends you a mail, but you don't know how to answer it right now, but you know the manager who can answer this question, don't write from your name to the manager. Make forwarding this message to another manager, to this manager, and you will be in copy. So you don't leave a responsibility at your side, not you responsible. You just move this responsibility to another person. So don't keep information, just delegate as much as possible, and give the questions to another guys. I can tell you the story about one developer who saw more TV shows than my grandma. It happened with one senior developer who has a long beard, like on senior developers. And one guy asked the question, can you advise some TV shows that I can watch on weekends? And this guy become just advice, okay, you can watch this show, you can watch this show, and this, they have 15 seasons, but that's okay, you can watch it, it's very interesting. And another similar show with 10 seasons. And I was shocked because he didn't stop, he really watched all these shows. After I asked how is possible, he just told that he has a second screen, and during all time he developed the code, he watched the show. So every day, several seasons, and he like as skilled as grandma. And I appeal, if you have no time, uh, put all tasks, do all tasks at the same time. For example, you are doing something routine. Your hands are occupied, but your brain is free. Keep headphones and just listen audiobook. At the references that I attached at the end, you may find at YouTube many amazing books, and you can listen them, and not on the first but on second speed. And by this trick, you save your time and you receive a huge quantity of knowledge and will be a skillful product. Explore a masterpiece of keeping a poker face. One guy told, Mary, don't you know why I believe the women are better product manager? Sorry about sexism. I asked, okay, why? Because they can keep poker face. And it's really so, maybe because women may be more artistic in some cases, but however, I know the men who are more artistic than women. It doesn't matter. My point is, if you have some information in every unclear situation, please keep poker face. Just imagine you're playing in card game and other person should not understand which cards you are keeping in your hands. If some customer uh, proposes you price, don't show the customer that they are the only one and you are ready to agree with this price right now. Just keep the poker face and tell them, okay, maybe we'll already discuss tomorrow because we need to check with other customers who wanted the same propositions, whether they are okay, whether we can do this. Just keep poker face. It gives you more advantages. Hide your emotions. Do not share it, because through emotions we receive extra information that may be used against you. And also about power of networking. On every conference, on every events, do your best to meet as many people as you can. And now some tips for better productivity. As you see here, we have front end and back end. Sometimes front end looks like this, but back end like this. On some application, you may notice that front end is awful, but functionality is quite good. Program works. So communicating with developer, you also should remember about this with which developer you communicate, whether it's front end, back end, or like this dark DevOps. I don't know. DevOps has not easy life, maybe, because every time they need to integrate something. Maybe product manager sometimes need to be like DevOps, but with soft skills, because product need to integrate different parts and assure that they work smoothly. Sometimes when you trying to understand the task, it may seem to you very simple, but for developers, this task may be much more simple, and developers knows how to realize them. So you need just trust to the guy you are talking to, and ask questions. The more questions, the better. And another case, we need to remember that developers looking at the world differently. Developers also like to experiment. I remember one funny case. My sister told me the story. They have developer. This developer just genius. He wrote the best code without bugs. But one day, the developer would like to try how psychiatric and psychology clinic works, and pretended he's the person who need to be put to the psychiatric clinics. So he came to the doctors and told them, you know, I would like to make some suicide. I have bad thoughts in my head. Could you please help me? He just experimented. But this guy took him, okay, we will help you, come with us. They put to him white robe. They just make some look like psychiatrics guys look like. These first days it was very funny, because the guy was in different conditions, not on the boring work but in clinics. Around, everything was calm. No one came to him and asked, you need to make this task, or you should go and do this. It was calm, just trees, birds around. And he was in this clinics 1 week, but after he became boring. And in this and would like to understand how to move outside. But in this not very comfortable situation, the main doctor took vacances and just take some holidays. And when the guy came to the medical sister and asked, okay, I go home, she said, no, you will be here, because we need to approve this with our senior doctor, but he's on holidays. Sorry, man, we will keep you here. They kept here about 3 weeks. It was just a very interesting experience. this guy created several blogs about psychological clinics keeping him there. I just would like to tell you that every developer likes experiments, and you need to remember about this. And maybe sometimes you should support some ideas and tell, okay, let's try and see the result. Very important, do not raise expectations, because sometimes our client wants this, and as a result, we have something else. The same about interviewing developers. When you come to receive information, do not expect a huge quantity of details or brief explanation. Accept all information that a technical engineer gives you. The best will be to record this conversation, especially now we have software that can transcribe. If you record conversation, you can transcribe this into human readable text. And by recording, you can save the time of another person. About estimation tasks. I received some questions from you, how to understand that this task will be done and how to plan timing for developers. It depends on project. I asked some guys how do they estimate. I remember how I estimate the task, and can tell you that you need to pay attention to statistics. For example, if previous time you needed 1 hour for this task, maybe this time you also may need 1 hour to the similar task. And if technical guy tells you for this task we need 2 hours, you need to understand the statistic is different. So some estimation you may do on the base of previous project. Some statistics you may do if you understand that after deployment of the product, you need to test this product, and test not only in your company, but test outside of your company. When product goes online, client will do with your product some loading testing. For example, it may be huge marketplace with many products, with many goods, and huge quantity, millions of users will use it. So you need to be sure that you take the time for development. In our company, we estimate the tasks, for example, sorry, we realized that this sorry, we realized that this task may be done for 10 hours. We add 10 hours. The next 10 hours will be for finding and fixing bugs. And also we take 20 persons, it will be 4 hours for unpredictable issues. For example, if you created, deployed, tested, fixed bugs, it may be the new bugs. So you fixed one bug and received the new bugs. And you also need to pay attention to this. One guy that works like senior product manager in my country told that every time he takes 5 times more time. For example, he understands that maybe this task will be finished during 1 month, and he tells to the client, we can finish this task during 5 months. So his statistics is 5 times. I mean, a full stack development. Every time we need to take into account these issues and also involve technical guys. For example, if you in doubt whether this task will be developed in 5 hours, you can contact another technical guy from Upwork or any other website and clarify whether it is so. And of course,
So,
yeah.
Sorry, we are running out of time. I do have a question for you here.
Sure.
Regarding task estimation. How does the project manager or product manager, how do they protect themselves from developers that don't estimate their tasks correctly? Because the project manager or the product manager will make a compromise with the client saying that, look, we will deliver your product in 3 months. And then the developers say, okay, we can do it in 2 months, 1 month for testing. But in essence, they estimated incorrectly. And then this thing went on more than 3 months. So how does the project manager, project manager, how do they protect themselves from this problem here?
First advice, it's a actor game. I remember I had have our lead and technical lead, and I was very scared and performed my work good, because every time when HR department came to him, he advised, I never regret about a person that I hired. If you believe that the person is not good, just hire, just and very funny, because this manager never hired guys, but he told about this and keep the team in understanding that if something goes not so smoothly, they will be hired. He did this with joke, but no one knows whether this joke will come true or it's just a joke. So in every situation, be an actor. Just somehow mention with another developer that we had have before some developer, but he just make estimation not so correct, so we just fired him in 3 days. Just make the situation. Be actor. Another advice is to ask the person indirectly. For example, not how much time do you need to develop this task, but may I have your advice how much time may it take if we give this task to our external development team? What do you think, how quickly it will be? So a person understands that this task is not for him or her and can give you the time without subjective extra, and it will be the right answer. And after this you can, we decided to give this task to you, or something like this. I try have such situations. I try to propose developers. For example, I have a budget, and within this budget, I do not ask about time. I just ask for which money you are ready to perform this task. Developers tell me, and then I can communicate and say, okay, if you will take some time extra, it will not be paid. So developers understands the budget, and after we need now manage the time. So to sum it up, uh, communicate on the base of price. Tell not about time but more about price, how will it cost. Be an actor and just ask the person indirectly. I almost came to the end. Also, I would like to ask you, in every situation, be human, because nowadays everything is being automated. Translation is being automated. Writing articles is being automated. All services are being automated. But there are some emotions that cannot be automated. Just be human and trust to the person, inspire the person, because machines, they cannot inspire. They can just bring something interesting, but no one can inspire like a human. Give to the person a sense of stability, and make them happy. So this quality cannot be automated after. And also I prepared some goodies for you, some sources, podcasts that you can listen combining your listening with other tasks, make your work more productive. Also, audio books, you can listen them, you can read them. They're very popular, and I strongly recommend. About culture differences, magic of thinking big. It's about motivation, about the way of work optimization, differences in visual perception. It's about you should not make giants because word is dual. That picture that you see, other person may see differently. Ask a manager. Many provocative questions. For example, some bosses like to steal lunches, and how to motivate your manager do not do this anymore, and many other answers you can find in this book. Also about influence, every product manager needs to know tricks of persuasion and manipulation. I just strongly recommend to read such books, so you will understand how to argue when you have deal with price, how to ask the price bigger than it should be, and any other tricks that help you manage your team more effectively. And thank you so much. If you have your questions, I'm ready. I'm here to ask them.
Yes, thank you, Mariya. We might have 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 3, for any questions that the audience can have. Please feel free to ask them if you can, please.
If you don't sleep at this time.
Okay, silence is golden.
Yeah, but that means maybe that guy thinking about information. In case you need to keep in touch, join me on LinkedIn. I would be happy to discuss with you some technical issues. It will be my pleasure. I would like to thank Maura for organizing this meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind attention, for coming here, for being with us. We appreciate your attention and wishing you to have a great team and interesting cases in your career, and every time receive a huge quantity of great projects and positive energy.
Okay, so we've reached the end of today's talk, and we sincerely hope that you leave here energized and with the necessary vision to transform your teams when dealing with development scenarios. I certainly have acquired valuable tips on how to improve when it comes to communication. I would like to reserve special praise and thank you to Mariya for the wonderful talk that she had. And a special thank you for everyone that joined us. Thank you for staying focused throughout this session.
Cheers.
Thank you all, and have a good day, good evening, wherever you are, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.